Hello everyone, today we are going to be detailing this 2004 Volkswagen Jetta. The process we're going to use, I believe, is the most convenient one for most people. You know, a lot of people don't have 8 hours of their day to wash their car. However, they do want to take care of it. They don't want to scratch the paint. So this is the process that I'm going to show you. It has not been washed for over 8 months. So there will be a few challenges here and there. The paint is fading on this side, so for that there's nothing really we can do. But overall the car is in great shape. And the first thing we will do is we're gonna soak it in water with a little bit of soap. The intention is not so much to wash the car and get the dirt off. It is more to hydrate the dirt and hopefully lubricate it with the soap. The number one thing to keep in mind is to try to avoid scratching the surface. We're gonna use microfiber towels, of course, but if there's any traces of dirt that are kind of hard instead of soft, that could scratch up our paint as well, so we don't want to take any chances. Now I do want to make something clear. This is not a professional detail process. However, it is very close. The intention of the first pass was simply to soak the dirt. The intention of the second pass was to sweep the dirt off the vehicle. The reason we didn't apply soap was first because I don't have the tool that attaches to the water, which most people don't. But the real reason is that we do not want to scratch the paint of the car. So now that we got most of the dirt off, we're gonna use some soap. Get a microfiber towel and we just put some soap in it. The only intention during this process is to get the soap to work with the water to start loosening up the dirt. When you first do it, since the car is very dirty, just go to the sides, but do not go below the bumper line. Below that bumper line, that is where you're gonna find most of the dirt. So you do not want to transfer the dirt that is at the bottom and bring it up to the top. Now that we did above the bumper line, now we can do below the bumper line. But make sure you do not go back up. And this is the end result of applying the soap. As you can see, there's not a lot of dirt in it, so that's a good sign. Now that we have some soap in there, we're gonna switch to this circling high pressure turbo spray. Now that the dirt is loose enough, we're gonna switch to this fan spray. Instead of just going up and down, we're gonna go from top to bottom. Notice that when I was applying the soap with the microfiber towel, I was not really scrubbing. My only objective was only to get the soap to penetrate the dirt. At this moment, you are not able to see it, but microscopically, the dirt is absorbing the soap. And when we do go for the real wash, it's gonna be a lot easier and it's not gonna scratch our paint as much. During this time, while I allow the dirt to absorb the soap, I'm going to vacuum the vehicle and clean it from the inside. When washing cars, I found it better to grab a service cart and put everything on it, because otherwise you will spend a lot of time trying to organize what you have in there. But remember, the objective right now is simply to clean the vehicle, not to organize whatever you have in there. Now that we got most of the dirt off, we're gonna go into a deep wash using the pressure washer. Next, what you want is to grab a upholstery cleaner and apply it. Just make sure that whatever soap you use, it creates a foam. Foam is really gonna bring all of the soil out of the surface. So the product works by two methods. One is gonna be the foam, but the other one is gonna be this cap that is gonna help us get really deep into the insides of the carpet. You want to find a surface that will hold the floor mat together, but will also allow the dirty water to flow through. On the first pass, you want to use this turbo spray to wash the surface. Do not concentrate on just one floor mat, just wet them and let the chemical do its work. You want to switch to a fan spray to get the dirt off. You can determine how clean your floor mat is. You see the water coming down is not really that dirty. Now there could be two reasons. One is that the chemical is not very effective, or the second one is that this is clean. Now, as I mentioned, this is mostly just a quick wash. If you do want to get very detailed into floor mats, and maybe you want to take it to a professional, but for us this should be good enough. We could let it just hang, but we're actually going to use the vacuum. The first reason is going to take extra dirt off, and the second reason is that it's going to help speed up the drying process, and there is no more water dripping. Let us take a look at the interior. As you can see, thanks for the floor mats, it's not very dirty. It's mostly just debris around the surface. These seats have held up pretty well. I believe it has to do with the window tint. This car has always had window tint. The tint really does help block out the sun rays. As far as washing the interior, this is the best solution that I found. This is my go-to cleaner. The reason I like this is because it doesn't have any fragrance. So after I apply this, you're not gonna have a mixture of odors. You're only gonna smell one thing. The other reason I like it is because it has no dyes. So as you can see, it's perfectly clear. Now what this is gonna do is it's gonna ensure that you do not stain any part of the interior of the car. So this is pretty effective, it's really safe, and this is just the way to go. And the best way that I found to clean the interior is to simply just spray everything. Just as the exterior, your first objective is simply to soak things up. Now you do not want to overdo this on the electronics, but everywhere else you can go ahead and do it. I found that it's better to work on one section at a time. So just focus on this one and then switch to the other one. If you let it sit for too long, it's gonna dry up and it's gonna stain your interior. After the chemical is applied, we're simply gonna wipe it down with a towel. If there is a lot of dirt in one section, simply clean it out and then just shake the towel to the side. This way you don't drop the dirt back inside of it. So getting that dirt off is very difficult, so I'm going to try to use the vacuum in reverse. Now, the reason why I'm not using a leather cleaner on this is because that dirt is not regular dirt. That is very heavy dirt. So what we're gonna do first, we're gonna clean that off, and then we're gonna apply the leather treatment. We will now apply the leather conditioner. To detail the interior of the car, I recommend this Mother's Protectant. It's really good. It is shiny, but not super shiny to the point that is uncomfortable to touch. And also it protects against UV rays and everything that's gonna damage your interior. Also, it allows for the dust to just slide off the interior. That way you don't have to clean it as often. And for this one, I recommend that you spray it on a towel, not on the surface, because it will make a little bit of a mess. The reason why we apply the protectant before cleaning the windows, it's because sometimes the chemicals for the windows, if they fall down, they can't stain the plastics. So that protectant will actually protect your plastic if the chemical does fall down. Ideally, you will time your cleaning process so that by the time you're finished cleaning the interior, the sun will be down and now it'll be safe to wash the car properly. Remember that we had previously cleaned the surface, but our objective was not to clean the surface, only to have the soap start penetrating the dirt. All of this dirt, now it should easily come off. That was one wipe. Let's do another one. You can see it was fairly simple and I didn't have to scratch the surface of the car. Now, some of these leftovers, we're gonna take care of them right now. Now we will be using our secret weapon. It is called clay. Now, clay is very interesting because instead of you scrubbing the surface, all you have to do is just pass this clay over and it's gonna absorb all of the dirt. Instead of feeling like a regular paint, it's gonna feel like glass and things are just gonna slide over. So right now you're gonna be able to hear it picking up all of the dirt, and after I do it for a while, you're not gonna hear the sound anymore. Now clay is very good at taking off those pieces of dirt or bird poop that just get stuck in your paint. So instead of using your nail or something harsh, all you need is clay. Just go at it and you see how easily it cleans it up. And now if I do it, you don't really hear the rubbing anymore. It's almost like glass and I can actually feel it. Now there is a requirement for clay, and that is that the surface has to be lubricated. So what you will have to do is get a towel, put a little bit of soap, and when the surface dries up, all you have to do is wipe it, and now your surface is lubricated again. Notice how after I apply the clay, some of the dirt comes up. So that is where the towel comes in. You do it, the dirt comes up, you're gonna wipe. And the reason you want to wipe is because you don't want to keep using the dirt to scratch the surface. And a better tip is to start from top to bottom. That way all the dirt that you take off is going to fall down. we're going to pressure wash the car once again so that all of the dirt that just came out can fall down out of the car. Now that we have the hard stuff out, we're gonna go deep into the clear coat of the car. So this is a rubbing compound. This, microscopically, this will buff out the car. Buff out meaning it's gonna scratch the surface to take off any more contaminants. Now, nothing's gonna happen to the car. Nothing should happen to the paint of the car. This is a very safe process used every day. But the reason we will use this is so that we don't have to do it again, because after we finish with the rubbing compound, we're going to apply wax. Now wax is going to prevent any contaminants from ever sticking to the paint again. Now for the headlights, you might want to use something more aggressive. This is the red rubbing compound, and you will see how it will help us clean the headlight. Now, in some cases, this restores the headlight just like a brand new condition. This does restore. Now, in some cases, it does restore the headlight to an almost new-like finish. In some cases, the plastic is very old already, and there's not much we can do. But we will see what we can do with this. The microfiber towel might be too soft for this. It is better to use a regular paper towel or a newspaper. After using the clay and the rubbing compound, it is now time to give the car the final wash before we apply the wax. In case you've already tried the clay and the compound and there's something that just won't come off, this might be your solution. This is great. Sometimes they're doing construction and there's like a very sticky substance that they use and it gets into your car. This will take it off. If there's anything, when you take a road trip and all the insects get stuck in the paint, this will take it off. It is very aggressive. It will take off any wax that you have in the car, so be careful. But this is a great product. It is now time to dry off the car. I found this to be the best solution. It is very absorbent. It does not scratch, and it's just the best thing. I have used the very absorbent towels in the past, but those tend to attract a lot of the dirt, and instead of trapping it in between the material, it might just scratch the car. One thing I almost forgot to do was to wash the wheels of the car. And to clean the wheels, I use something like this. Anything that says non-acid wheel cleaner will do the trick. And if it's foaming, I like it better. This one is not foaming, but still pretty good. So yesterday I spent a little more time on the inside than expected. Just the leather seats had like these little stains that I was able to get off. So it was really dark and I did wanted to show you the final product. So now I'm gonna go ahead and wax the vehicle. Now in the instructions of all the waxes, it says that you should do it under a shade. Now do not follow this advice, but I actually like to wax the car in sunlight. When the wax is in a very liquid state, it would actually penetrate the imperfections a little better. It's gonna get deep inside. It's gonna really cover any scratches that the car has. I've done it 3 times before. It has worked perfectly every time. I never had any issues with it. The main thing about keeping your car clean is just consistency. If you're consistent, your car will always look great. You know, it's like, it doesn't matter if you apply the best wax only once a year or every 2 years. If you apply wax, if you do this every 3 months, then your car will always be in its best shape. So since I washed it yesterday, I'm just gonna wipe it down to make sure any dust is off, and then I will proceed with the wax. Now that the surface is rather clean, we're gonna use this Carnauba wax. Now, the synthetic wax is better, but I like this because it just shines more. Um, so it's up to you. As I mentioned before, as long as you're buying quality products, I don't really think it matters much like what you buy. I don't really recommend a certain product. It's just stuff that I've had over the years. You know, if you get what you pay for. If you buy a quality product, you're not gonna have any problems. I will buy my wires. I would buy I think Cherry's Garage or something like that. I would buy the chemical guys. You know, as long as you get quality products, it doesn't matter what you apply. The key is just being consistent. You just drop a little bit on the towel and then we spread it out. For some reason, I've learned that wax is just way better when you do it twice. It's just gonna feel much better. It'll feel like you're touching glass. After that, it's gonna glaze up again, and then we will get a microfiber towel that has no wax in it, and we're gonna wipe it off. And now we're gonna do the wax test. Now, this is really easy to do, but it's really gonna make a difference because it's gonna say this car was not just washed, this car was detailed. And while we already washed the exterior and the interior, there is something in the middle. I'm talking about the weather sealing, such as these rubbers, and also these pillars right here. As you can see, there's a lot of dirt in there, so we're gonna give it a quick clean as well. Usually when you go buy a car, if they detail it, you can see that they polish it or wax it when you see leftovers like this. Take that off. So once we clean it off, we're gonna use this Mother's Protect. And now look at that difference. And we cannot forget about the side of our doors. So now we're gonna shine them up. We're gonna use the same 3M protectants. After 20 years, these kind of become hard to find in good shape. So if you have the opportunity to protect them against the sun rays, now it is the time to do so. And for our last and final step, we will clean the windows. I don't want to see anything on my windows, so I'm actually going to go as far as using blades. When cleaning your windows, I recommend that you start from the outside. That way, if there's any leftover stains, you know that it's coming from the inside of the car. I now present a very clean 2004 Volkswagen Jetta 1.8 Turbo Mark IV.